Alright, today we are entering Barrowmaze. The group of 16 have descended down some well-worn stairs into a dark passage. And Ged the light bearer is out front with his lantern. We've got just enough time before the sun goes down, because we don't want to be caught out on the moors at night. Okay? So it is time to get out my map, which I made by sticking it all together. It's very big now. We mustn't look too closely. We don't want to spoil anything, but we are here. We've come down the stairs, so we don't want to look too close. So we enter a stony room. And the first thing we absolutely need to do is check for a random encounter. So we roll a 6-sided dice. Well, actually I've made this dice and it's blank on all sides apart from one side. I've drawn a picture of a monster to say that there's an encounter. So let's roll that. Nothing. Okay, there's nothing. It's quiet. It's quiet. We creep down. And the room that we move into has 2 doors, one on one wall, one on the side wall. So we just pick a door and go through. Just so everybody knows, the people out front are Han the jeweler, Ged the light bearer, Dine the ostler, and Cal the halfling haberdasher. They are leading the way. So we move through the door that is ahead of us in this dark chamber. So in this room, it's a fair-sized chamber with 4 statues in the corners. The room seems a little bit worn, overgrown with moss and that sort of thing. The statues are old. They are carved to look like female warriors. Spears and swords with winged helmets. 2 of them are broken, with their arms broken off or cracked. So all very mysterious, but as we move across this room to the exit at the opposite end, which just leads down into some kind of anteroom or extra chamber or something, as we move across, the other 2 statues begin to come to life. And they move into the room, and they have swords, and they block our passage, and they move in to attack. Okay, oh dear. First of all, we need to, the sensible thing to do right here is probably to back away, I think. Probably backing away is actually a good idea, but we need to see who moves first. So to do that, we need to roll the agility for the characters out front. Ged has the highest with +1. So we will roll that. And he gets 17 + 1, which is 18. That's quite high. Now we need to see if the come to life statues, so I'll roll for them. They got a 7. Okay, they got a 9 total, so we get to move first. So I think the most sensible thing to do would be to leave. Because we tried to cross this room with these statues and they blocked the way. So we're just gonna go back the way we came. I say we go back into the corridor. And we all back away into the first room that we started in, the small little room with nothing in it. And it doesn't appear that they're following us, so thank goodness for that. Well, won't be going that way. So now that we're back here, it's probably a good idea if we returned home now. I think we're in a position where we would need to get back home before the sun goes down, so we can just go back up the stairs. But I would say that as we do that, we need to check for a random encounter. So let's see what happens. Okay, there's nothing in here. And we're able to return back up the stairs through this weird shrine and this mound that we found. And everybody can wipe their brow because nothing happened. We were safe. It was fine. And so we're going to have to say it's time to walk home back to the village, cross the Barrowmoors through the mist as the sun descends. Back at the village, and the next day, all the boys get up early and excited. Now then, we need some spades, because I think it would be a good idea to check out those covered mounds that we found along the way. So first of all, let's see who has the highest luck. Moll, the hunter, has the highest luck with a +3. His dad is probably the hunter in the town, and therefore it's likely that they would have a spade being hunters. So let's make a d20 roll +3, and we're looking for a difficulty of medium. That is to say, we need to roll 10 or more to see if Moll has a spade at home. I got a 6 +3 is 9, so that's not enough. Unfortunately, Moll hunts around and looks in his house, but there's no spade to be found there. So, now let's look at somebody with the highest personality and see if they can persuade a spade of someone. Okay, so I noticed that Ike, the Goliard, that's the travelling student, has a +1 personality, which isn't great, but it's the highest in the group. And so I imagine that they would try and talk to some people. They're probably staying with some people or something like that, or know some people around, and they're going to see if they can persuade a spade out of anyone. So once again, I'm going to roll, and I'm going to add 1 and see if we can get 10 or more. I rolled a 4, +1 is 5, so once again, no spade to be found. So now we will see who has the highest intelligence and see if anyone could just flat out know of the location of a spade in the village, and maybe they'll probably pinch it, but we'll see who's got the highest intelligence. Yes, so it's actually our friend Ark, the candle maker, or their family's the candle makers anyway. They got a +2 intelligence, so I'm going to roll again and add 2 and see if there's a spade to be discovered in the village. I rolled a 10, +2 is 12. They sneak off early in the morning and find a spade. Maybe they know of one lent up against a barn or out the back of somebody's house. I'm sure they won't miss it for a day or something like that. Okay, and finally what I'd like to do, we've also got Ness, the blacksmith. Their family's a blacksmith, and so I have a feeling that maybe Ness would try and cobble together a spade from some metal lying around in the blacksmith shop with some wood and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, we'll roll their intelligence, which is +0, so we're just going to literally roll. So let's see what we get. I rolled a 6, so no, we only have between us 1 spade. But never mind, we'd probably all get together in the village square, and Ark would come up with a spade and say, look, I got this. Now here's the important thing. It's going to take, according to the book, 3d4 + 4 hours of digging. So I'll roll that. 9 + 4, 13. It's going to take 13 hours. Okay, that is a lot longer than the time that we have today. Despite the fact that Ark has gone to all that trouble to get a spade, it would probably be a good idea if we abandoned any digging and properly make preparations to collect a large amount of spades to come back another time. So we would be ready for our second day out on the adventure, and we'll go across the moors again. So as we go back into the Barrowmoors, the quiet and the mist would come down again, and we would see the shadows of the stones leaning out of the mist. And so we're looking for, I think that Pip, the dwarf runecast, is a good person to ask if they remember, because he's familiar with his stones. So let's see if he remembers where the first mound is. Again, I'm going to say it's a difficulty of medium 10. It's going to be a 10. So we're going to roll. I rolled a 9. Add 1 is 10. That's what we needed. So, yes, indeed, he remembers the first mound. Out of interest, let's see, everyone's going to ask him if he also remembers the location of the second mound that we found as well. I'll roll again. I rolled a 16 + 1 is 17. He remembers the location of both mounds. So we know that both of the mounds that we found are covered, and so it's not a great idea to dig them out right now. So now we need to see if we remember the location of the one we went into. Again, everybody turns to Pip to see if he remembered our roll. I rolled a 2. Plus 1 is 3. No, he doesn't know. Everybody was relying on that. Oh dear. Not his fault, just everyone else's. Oh, Pip will remember the way. Well, we'll wander around in the mist for a little bit. And yes, we're going to have to roll a different mound and see what we stumble across, because we've forgotten the way to the creepy shrine mound we went down yesterday. So as we're bumbling about in the mist thinking about that, I will check for a random encounter and then roll another mound. Oh, there is! Oh my goodness! The screen goes all like in Final Fantasy or something. Alright. Okay, so I've got to roll on the random encounter table for the Barrowmoors. It's a 6-sided dice. I will roll that. Coming out of the shadows there are some shapes, some strange noises, and it isn't long before we see some skeletons have come out across the ground and are heading towards us. Oh dear, there's poetically 1d6 of them. There's 3 skeletons. Oh dear. Well, since we're meandering through the mist, let's see if we even notice these skeletons. Han is right at the front, and I'm going to make a luck roll for him and see if we notice the skeletons. We'll just say it's a 10 again. I rolled a 13, he has -1 luck. That takes it down to 12, but that's okay. We see their skeletons, we turn to face them. Oh my, this is what we came here for. This is the rumours that we heard. And so now the front row is Han, and he has a dagger. Ged, he has a torch, which he can light. Dine, the Oslo of his staff. And Cal, the halfling haberdasher, with their scissors. Let's see what happens here. So, we need to make a roll to see who goes first. This is what's called an initiative roll. So we'll roll the agility of the highest front row character, which is Ged the Lightbearer. He has a +1. So we'll roll him. D20 +1, plus we got 6. So we got 6. The skeletons, we'll make initiative roll for them. They have +0 to their initiative, so we'll roll. And they rolled a 16. Oh my. They just lunge out of the mist. They're right there. We see them coming, but they just lunge out. So what happens? It doesn't look like any of them have any weapons. So they just start going in with their claws at the front row. Oh dear. There's 4 people in the front row, so I'll roll a d4 to determine which one each attacks. Okay, there's 3 skeletons. I'm going to roll 3d4, and each number that comes up is which is being attacked. So we've got a 4, a 2, and a 4, which means that Ged is being attacked, and Cal is being attacked twice by some skeletons. So, oh my. So 2 skeletons immediately lunge in at the little halfling haberdasher. Oh no, his fine clothes are going to get torn. So a skeleton rolls a d20 to attack and adds nothing to it. So I will roll. Okay, the first skeleton has rolled a 1, which means they lunge over past Hal, and he's obviously small because he's a little halfling, and the skeleton completely goes past, and he collapses off to one side, and he's a bit of a pile of bones at the moment. We'll give him a chance to regenerate himself next turn. Well, that was lucky. The other skeleton, though, also goes in to attack Hal, and let's see. He gets a 3. Hal's armor is 9. Your armor at level 0 is 10, plus your agility, and his agility is -1, so his armor is 9. Again, he manages to deftly dodge out the way. Excellent job there. The other skeleton is going to go in and attack Ged, the Lightbearer. Let's see what happens. I rolled an 11 plus nothing. Ged's armor is 11, so it does hit him, and he is clawed by this skeleton for 1d3 damage. 3 damage! Ged has 3 hit points. Ged goes down. Oh my goodness, Ged. He's been clawed down by this skeleton. Finn was behind Ged, so Finn's going to move up into Ged's position. And now, after seeing that, well, we'll have Finn go first. He'll probably see Ged fall and be like, no! And go in with his club and try and smash the skeletons off. So then, Finn goes in to attack,